Hi, Year 11. So welcome to our second lesson online. We're still looking at language analysis, and this lesson is designed to give you guys more practice, but this time working more closely with partners and your classmates to produce an answer. So the extract that we're going to be looking at today is called the Spacesuit. Now hopefully you'll remember it because we have actually looked at this extract before when we did a question 3. So fingers crossed you will remember it and already be familiar with it, so it shouldn't take you too long to think of the kinds of things that you could write about. So the deadline for this lesson is Thursday the 6th of February at 8 p.m. And just like before, you guys need to submit the worksheet to me on Teams. Just as before, you can find all of the class materials on Teams. Click on to Coronavirus Classes Week 1, and now we are on Lesson 2. So on there you'll be able to find this video file, as well as the PowerPoint that we're going to look at, the insert, the question paper. I'm going to delete the mark scheme to make you guys think a little bit harder. And then the most important file is this one here. This is your worksheet. So please open up that file now. And when you do, you'll see that it looks like this, just like the last one that we did, except now it should say Lesson 2. Please make sure you've got the correct worksheet open. You guys know exactly who I'm talking to when I say make sure you've got the correct worksheet open. And please don't print it off, screw it up, spit on it, throw it on the floor, etc. So the worksheet looks like this. And just as before, you've got planning sections that you need to fill in, and a writing section. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of it. So let's start off then just by reading the extract. So the extract is available on Teams. It's called the Spacesuit. So let's read it. Passage A, the Spacesuit. Astronaut A is based at a station in space and is sent on a mission to remove some hazardous debris which is occupying an orbit path. Do you remember this? Do you remember the rubbish in space that the astronaut has to go and get? We did spend like a week on this extract, I think, so hopefully you can remember it. I'd be really worried actually if some of you can't remember it. Let's read it anyway. I think it's always useful to recap. When Space Control called me, I was in the observation bubble, a glass-domed office that juts out from the axis of the space station like the hubcap of a wheel. Only a few yards away I could see the construction teams performing their slow-motion ballet as they put the station together like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And beyond them, 400 kilometres below, was the blue-green glory of the full Earth floating against the ravelled star clouds. Astronaut A here, I answered. What's the trouble? Our radar showing some metallic debris 3 kilometres away, almost stationary, about 5 degrees west of Sirius. Someone needs to go out and haul it aboard, get it out of orbit. Hastily, I clambered into my spacesuit. Our suits are really baby spaceships, just big enough to hold one person. They are cheerfully coloured stubby cylinders, about 2 metres long, and fitted with softly chattering, low-powered propulsion jets. Their accordion sleeves at the upper end fit with hospitable snugness around an astronaut's arms, and the gentle contours of the helmet's visor finish the feeling that you are being looked after by a responsible friend. Inside, I switched on the power and checked the gauges on the tiny instrument panel. All my needles were well in the safety zone, so I lowered the transparent hemisphere over my head and sealed myself in. For a short trip like this, I did not bother to check the suit's internal lockers, which were used to carry food and special equipment for extended missions. The conveyor belt decanted me into the airlock. Then the pumps brought the pressure down to 0, the outer door opened, and the last traces of air swept me out into the stars, turning me very slowly head over heels. I was now an independent planet, a little world of my own. I was sealed up in a tiny mobile cylinder, with a superb view of the entire universe. But I had practically no freedom of movement inside the suit. The padded seat and safety harness prevented me from turning around, though I could reach all the controls and lockers with my hands or feet. In space, the great enemy is the sun, which can blast you to blindness in seconds. Very cautiously, I switched the helmet's internal sunshade to automatic, so that whichever way the suit gyrated, my eyes would be shielded. Presently I found my target. He's found the debris. She has found the debris, we don't know the gender. A bright fleck of silver whose metallic glint distinguished it clearly from the surrounding stars. I stamped on the jet control pedal and felt the mild surge of acceleration as the low-powered rocket set me moving away from the station. After 10 minutes of steady thrust, I cut off the drive. So she has turned off the rockets, the engines, and they're completely still now in space. It would take me 5 minutes to coast the rest of the way, and not much longer to return with my salvage. So everything's going fine so far. And it was at that moment I knew something was horribly wrong. It is never completely silent inside a spacesuit. You can always hear the gentle hiss of oxygen, the faint whir of fans and motors, the susurration of your own breathing. These sounds are the unnoticed background of life in space, for you're aware of them only when they change. Normally you hear all these small background noises that you don't even notice, but when you hear those background noises suddenly stop, that's when you realise that you're in trouble. I guess you might be a little bit worried if you heard your own breathing stop, though, to be fair. They had changed now. To them had been added a sound which I could not identify. It was an intermittent, muffled thudding, sometimes accompanied by a scraping noise. I remember when we first did this bit, explaining what a thudding, scraping noise was. Remember this is thudding, and then scraping would be like fingernails on a blackboard. I froze instantly, holding my breath and trying to locate the alien sound with my ears. The meters on the control board gave no clues. All the needles were rock steady on their scales. No flickering red lights warned of impending disaster. All the gauges are completely normal, nothing's going, danger. There are no flashing lights, everything looks normal, but they can tell that something is wrong. Then, 3 things had gone wrong all at once. The oxygen regulator had run wild and sent the pressure soaring. The safety valve had failed to blow, and the faulty joint had given way. Blind panic meant that it took me several attempts before I could press the right button and switch my transmitter to the emergency wavelength. "Station!" I gasped. "I'm in trouble!" I never finished. They say my yell wrecked the microphone. I must have lunged forward, despite the safety harness, and smashed against the upper ledge of the control panel. When the rescue squad reached me a few minutes later, I was unconscious, with an angry bruise across my forehead. Coming to my senses an hour later, I saw our medical staff gathered around my bed. Okay, so before we continue, please go back through this extract and find any words that you don't know. And there's a section on your worksheet here to write down the words that you maybe don't know or might need to revise. So please write the original word here, the Chinese translation here, and the English definition here. Pause this video now whilst you do that. Right, so the next task that you need to do is a summary task. So very simple, I want you guys to summarise the text that we have just read. And you're actually going to do this as a speaking summary task. So I don't know if you guys have used Flipgrid before, but let me explain. So Flipgrid is a really good website where you can record yourself speaking and I can see your responses and you guys can also see each other's responses. So that way, if you're a little bit stuck on any of the things that we're doing, you can listen to what each other is saying and that should help you. So the link that you need is right here. It's also on your worksheet right here, and you can also find it on Teams. So if you go onto our Teams and then click the Flipgrid tab, and you do need a password to enter this. The password I will send to you separately, so you enter that there. I think it will ask you to log in or to create an account, so please do create that account. Use your school email, so click Microsoft account and then use your school email to do that. So after you've created your account and input the password, this is what it looks like. I couldn't find a more up-to-date picture. If any of you guys have got one, send it to me so that I can update it, because some of you guys are missing off this picture. Yeah, so it looks like this. So when you get onto it, just click this tab here, 3 topics, and do them in order. So we're starting off here now, obviously, with number 1, Spacesuit summary. So it will be really clear what to do. You just click plus and add a response. And you're going to record yourself summarising the extract, the spacesuit. So that should be between 30 to 60 seconds long, and you should include lots of relevant details, so small things that happen in the text, minimum of 30 seconds. So please make sure that you pause the recording now and upload your speaking of your summary of the spacesuit. Okay, so hopefully you've uploaded that now. If you do have any technical problems, then let me know so I can help you guys to fix them. Also, just ask each other on your WeChat, hey, how do I do this, and help each other solve those problems. Next, you also need to type up your summary below. Aim to have that about 100 words long. Pause it now and type up your summary. Okay, so let's take a look at our question then. So once again, this is an old question, so it's almost identical to the new exam, except this one will ask you to look at 4 images per paragraph, whereas the new exam will ask you to look at 3 per paragraph. So the question says, question 2, reread the descriptions of the space station and what astronaut A saw in paragraph 1, beginning when satellite control called me. B, the spacesuit in paragraph 4, beginning hastily I clambered into my spacesuit. Select 4 powerful words or phrases from each paragraph. Your choices should include imagery. Explain how each word or phrase is used effectively in the context. Write about 200 to 300 words. So, you guys are going to do this. Let me take off my headphones. You guys are going to do this in partners later on, but I want you to do the planning stage by yourself. So the planning stage is super simple. Firstly, go back onto your worksheet and you will notice that I've copied in the paragraphs there and given you a planning grid for paragraph 1 and for paragraph 2. So complete those first and then come back to this video. So pause the video now and then we will go on to the next bit. Pause now. Okay, so the next 2 sections are Flipgrid sections. You are going to upload your ideas for what you could say about paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 on Flipgrid. So speaking task 2, this is for just paragraph 1. So you're going to do 1 recording for paragraph 1 and 1 recording for paragraph 2. So on this Flipgrid, it's called number 2, the spacesuit paragraph 1, and the link is on your worksheet. You should share your ideas about paragraph 1 on Flipgrid and you should talk for between 3 to 5 minutes, so 3 minutes minimum. In your talk you should clearly state the overall effect of the paragraph, pick 3 images that you can talk about, so about 1 minute per image or slightly longer, analyse connotations and say the effect of these images. Why does the writer want you to feel a particular way? So you're going to go on to Flipgrid. you're going to go on to number 2, the Spacesuit paragraph 1, and you're going to upload that there. Please pause the recording now to do that. Okay, and then I'm sure that you can guess what the next thing is. You are going to record yourself doing your planning for paragraph 2, and that is called, let me correct that, that is called number 3, the Spacesuit paragraph 2. Exactly the same task. You need to speak for between 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure that you start off introducing the overall effect of the paragraph, pick 3 images, analyse connotations and say the effect of those images. Do use your planning sheet to help you, and it is right here, number 3, paragraph 2. So please pause the recording now to do that. Okay, so let me just remind you guys of what you should be doing when you come to writing up. You're actually going to write up your response this time, not individually. You're going to write them up with your partners. Your partners are the same as yesterday, right here. You're going to write them up with your partners. Ideally, I'd like it if you guys could do this via video call on WeChat or Teams so that you can really get involved. Do not just have one person write one paragraph and the other person write another, because then there's no point. And also I'll be able to tell if one paragraph is like has a different writing style or is like much better or much worse. It will be clear that, you know, so and so has written this paragraph and so has written this one. So you need to make sure that you're working together, otherwise there's no point in doing partner work at all. So a reminder that you don't need to write an introduction or conclusion. To pick 3 images per paragraph. Start off with your overall effect sentence, your introduction sentence. Then go on to the point, the word that you're going to analyse, connotations, the effect, why is that word important, what is the effect on the reader, and then comparison if possible. Please get in contact with your partner and begin writing this. And after you have written it together, you are going to have to work with more of your classmates. So please pause now and do that. Okay, so once again we are going to do some peer feedback, but this time we're going to do it in much bigger groups. So these are the groups, so you're going to have to work all together. This is quite a big group, so in 4s or more, and you're going to help each other to improve. So you are going to highlight the overall effect sentence, the images, connotations and effect, and then you're going to tell them 3 things they did well and 3 things that they could improve. Now I actually want proof that you did this, so I want to see proof of a group conversation. So down at the bottom of your worksheet, you will see this here where you have to give examples of the feedback that you received, but this new box is as proof that you guys actually did have a group conversation. So I want to see perhaps a screenshot of a WeChat group call that you guys do. I need to see some proof that you have actually spoken to each other there. And also do not swap partners, do not swap groups, otherwise it'll get way too complicated, so please don't do that. So to summarise what you need to do today, you need to have completed all of this planning sheet. You need to have completed all 3 Flipgrids. You need to have written up an example response with your partner. And you need to have got in contact with your groups, given each other feedback and show me evidence that you spoke in a group. Then you're going to upload all of this document onto Teams, onto assignments. right here, lesson 2, the spacesuit, and you're going to make sure that you have also got all of your Flipgrids uploaded. So please do that for me. Also with your partners, obviously you're going to be submitting the same work, don't worry about that, just both of you send me the same essay. The deadline for this is the 6th of February, I believe that's Thursday, at 8 o'clock. If you guys have got any questions, comments, worries, anything like that, please let me know so that I can help you. That's it. End of class.